Hey guys, welcome back to Inside the Pits, where we break down all the biggest news, storylines, and race updates from Formula One to IndyCar and NASCAR. I'm your host, Max. I'm here with all the motorsport facts, numbers, and headlines you need to know.
And I'm your co host Jonah, ready to unpack all the major racing developments of this week.
This weekend's action starts with the 2026 Formula One season opener, IndyCar's return to Phoenix, and huge NASCAR Cup Series race at Phoenix. Let's dive right into Formula One. Well, it's official. 2026 Formula One World Championship is underway, starting at Melbourne for the Australian Grand Prix, kicking off a fresh era of racing with new technical regulations. This race was streamed last night on Apple TV in the U.S. So, Jonah, to get us started, what did you think of the outcome of that race?
Well, first of all, I think that the race overall it was entertaining itself, but I think that there were a lot of I think improvements that need that I first of all I think there are a lot of improvements that need to be made first off, and I mean overall I think it could have been a lot more entertaining. I think all the DNFs by Hadjar, Bottas,
Yeah,
Fernando,
those were insane.
Hulkenberg, and Piastri not starting for different reasons. I think Oscar pulled an Isaac Hadjar from last year basically, and crashing like even before the race started. So
Yeah,
that was idiocy straight up on his part. Hulkenberg had a big issue with his car, according to Jonathan Wheatley, the team principal for Audi. But besides the DNFs, I think the race was pretty entertaining. Although I think, as we can both agree, it was a Ferrari Mercedes off with
oh yeah,
Limblad briefly being in first place, and a bunch of teams kind of it seems like the midfield is wide open now. If you want my opinion on it.
right, yeah. Um, and it's been a while since we've seen Mercedes at the top. I mean, for a while it was a Red Bull game. For a
Yeah,
while you had Max Verstappen dominating the grid, and I'm a huge fan, so obviously I'm totally okay with that, right?
yeah,
Um,
yeah. So 2023 was definitely the Dutch national anthem being ingrained into your head then.
oh yeah, it was absolutely Max's year.
Except for Singapore, that was an absolute shit show there.
Oh yeah, no, that was just awful. That was just
Yeah.
awful. But yeah. So we had a couple of those DNFs early in the beginning of the race. We also had Stroll, who was down many
Okay.
many laps.
There were a lot of guys down laps. I think if you go past P10, it's like everyone's a lap down. Ocon, Albon, Sainz,
Yeah, they were all at least a
Stroll.
lap down.
Checo was like I think about like the same amount, almost 15 plus down. Che-
Yeah, but
Checo Checo was tail end of the pack at the race.
he was. We got some new teams out there on the grid.
Yeah.
It's Cadillacs and Audi's first race in Formula One. So how do you think they're gonna? Do you think they need to make some changes? How do you think this race is gonna impact their future races in the year?
Well, I'll start with Cadillac. I think Cadillac has a very bright future ahead of them, and I think that they have a good base foundation. As you know, I don't know if you knew, but throughout the whole 25 season, when they were developing the car without the hours, they were secretly also simulating those races as if they were at that actual race, as if they had a pit crew, as if they had everything in the drivers. They were simulating the
Right.
actual race, so they got their staff really good reps there, and I think that with Graham Loudon at the head of that team as the team principal, he's an experienced Formula One guy. He knows how to run a team really well. So yeah, and I think also with the drivers, it starts with the drivers as well. I think Checo, Sergio Perez, and Valtteri Bottas are very experienced guys who have been in top teams. Will know how to give you feedback. They'll give it to you straight. They're not gonna BS anything. I think
Right. They're gonna
especially
give you the information you need.
yeah, I think especially Valtteri having teamed with Lewis and Checo having teamed with Max, they know exactly what to look for, and
Right.
they've both had their ups and downs. So I think they will. I think they'll give Cadillac very stern feedback. Checo said in the post race interview that finishing the race was the best result they could have gotten without DNFing because Bottas had to DNF because of an issue with the car. So
I mean, yeah. At least you had Perez able to finish the race for that team, so you didn't have a double DNF. It's a bit of a shame that Bottas was not able to finish
yeah,
the race.
but look, all right. Look, we still got a lot more races to go. So I think that we will see Cadillac have major improvements. As for Audi. Audi is the complete opposite. Audi has Mattia Bonazzo at the head and Jonathan Wheatley, Red Bull's masterful pit crew strategist, formerly,
Right.
who those two guys together are amazing. And I think that with Audi's lineup of Gary Bortoleto, who many people have called the next heir in Senna because not because he's Brazilian, but also
Okay.
because he's a fast kid and did really well in F2. But Hulkenberg as well is amazing is is known to he's known by the one skill of putting shit boxes of cars into the top 4 like Haas
Oh my
and
God.
Racing Point. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean overall Audi's the complete opposite. I think Audi did really well. I think Hulkenberg's issue was it could have been prevented, but things happen with the 26 regulations being new. But as
They
Wheatley
got rid of DRS.
Yeah.
That's not a thing anymore.
yeah, but as Jonathan Wheatley put it in a post game interview on the Audi Instagram, he said that Bortoletto's drive was mature, masterful. You know, they didn't have the stuff they wanted, but he said that Gabby, which means Bortoletto, remained cool and kept the whole thing going, and they finished P9 luckily. So
Yeah. We got some more news. Let's talk Ferrari and Mercedes and their
yeah.
dominance on the
yeah.
grid. I mean, in practice, Leclerc led Ferrari 1-2. They showed some early pace with Mercedes at Albert Park. I mean, what do you think of that? Are you a big Ferrari guy? Mercedes guy?
I'm a big Ferrari Mercedes guy. I think Mercedes all along during testing was hiding their pace. You know, Max Verstappen and Laurent Mekies, as the team principal of Red Bull, had hinted at Mercedes possibly hiding a lot of their pace. And I think Ferrari had also hinted at it, but Mercedes has also been combating those by saying Red Bull's hiding their true pace with their own power unit. Ferrari might be hiding some stuff.
Right.
I think
right.
Ferrari and Mercedes just opened the floodgates of pace straight up. I mean, Lewis said it himself that if he had five more laps in this race, he could have been P3. That's just how much pace he had. And
Yeah, he was on fire.
Yeah, and
the other day.
I mean, even in the practice start at Bahrain, one of the Bahrain and Barcelona, they did a practice start. Lewis just hit P1 within 5 seconds. So
He's definitely got the potential. He could have, if that race was longer, gone even higher than P3 because he was just crushing it pace-wise.
Yeah, although I will say, I mean, the difference-wise I see right now is that Mercedes, I think, has had a really clean start, and F1 has reported on the F1 app saying Mercedes has had the best start they could have possibly had. Antonelli's now out of his rookie season. He's doing better. He's driving better. He's got a car behind him. He knows how the whole team works. Russell, I'm not surprised whatsoever. George Russell's been in contention for a championship in a while. He's been screwed over multiple times. And I think 24 and 25 really kind of built up to this being his year.
Right.
But to touch on Ferrari, I think Ferrari, while they have been good, I think they still have a few things to fix. You know, Lewis and Charles's post-game interviews were very different. Or I should say post-race interviews, but they were very different. Lewis says the car was amazing. He loves it, But Charles is calling it like Mario Kart. He said in a radio message in the team, he said he feels like a mushroom in Mario
Oh my God.
Kart. Like, it seems like Charles, despite being P3,
So he might have a bit of a harder time controlling it.
It seems like
Lewis
Charles might
does.
have a bit more pace to find. Charles says he was slow at some points in the race, while Lewis seems like he was just like Lewis just seems like this was like 07, 08 McLaren when they had a rocket ship of a car.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about one pretty notable DNF at the beginning of the race, Piastri.
Oh,
He came out of turn, I think it was 3, it might have been turn 2, but he came out of turn 3 or 2 and just absolutely lost it in the wall and totaled his car. So how do you think this is going to impact the rest of the season? Obviously, they have plenty of time to catch up, but do you think this is like an early warning sign or?
I don't think it's an early warning sign. I think some mistakes you can put on the driver, some mistakes you can put on the car. I don't think McLaren has been an oversteer or understeery car. I don't think they've had one this year that's really any of those things, although you can have those things randomly on your car. I think Piastri's mistake is strictly his fault, but as much as I don't think it's an early warning sign, I do think that it maybe lost McLaren a lot of data for the car. And I can say the same about Aston Martin briefly because both those teams, I think, need to learn a lot more, especially Aston Martin with the shit show there, and we can talk about that later on if you want.
For sure,
but
yeah.
McLaren-wise, let's be honest, okay? McLaren is way ahead of Aston Martin, but they still have a lot to figure out.
Definitely, they're doing it.
I think Lando being P5, I think that got them some good data of where they are. I think they have a good baseline off of that. But Oscar really ruined them getting a second half of data because the cars are always built differently in the setup window.
All right, we got a few more things to address here. Let's talk Aston Martin.
Yeah.
And first of all, to be added to the list of DNFs is Alonso.
Yeah.
The veteran.
The-
But not only did Alonso DNF, but Stroll was like 17 laps down in that race.
15
It was more than the one laps that the other
Fi-
people were.
15 plus. Sergio Perez was around the same thing. Although,
Yeah.
what can you expect from Cadillac being brand new? Aston Martin's been in F1 since 2022.
For a while. I mean,
Yeah.
Cadillac's fresh out the gate, and Aston Martin's been around for a while, but they might have some issues. So, what do you think? Is this gonna impact their season, or is this again one of those one-offs? Oh, I screwed up. We
It's-
can come
it's
back
gonna-
from this.
If you've seen Bahrain testing, Aston Martin is completely in the deepest hole they could have been in. I think Adrian Newey, I don't know what he's done. Him being team, I don't know if it's him being team principal and technical director. That's kind of just malfunctioned the whole thing. I just don't know what the heck Aston Martin was doing. They started 26 development really early, and they seemingly just didn't get off on the right foot. It's just
Yeah, they
not
might
good.
have. I think they're. Yeah.
Newey has said himself that the car is causing the drivers to have it could give the drivers permanent nerve damage in their hands. They were limiting laps to
Oh,
Alonso.
jeez.
Before Australia, 2 weeks leading up, they were saying they were gonna just do the formation up in their entire both cars.
Oh, wow. So they weren't even going to compete in the race.
They weren't even gonna do it.
to begin with.
They were gonna pull a 2021 Ferrari where they do the formation up and then retire the Ferrari before the race even starts.
Oh, jeez.
That's a history lesson. In 2021, Ferrari was so shit that they retired the car, I think in Imola or Monza, due to it being so crap before the race even started. Aston was going to pull that. And I think, yeah, they can make upgrades. I think they can bring the season back. It's a 22 race season, which we can get to without, it's not 24, I don't think anymore. But yeah, Aston needs big steps to fix it. And I don't know how you messed up this bad with Adrian Newey, the masterful designer, and also with Enrique Cardile, who's a former Ferrari engineer, and the financing of Lawrence Stroll. So I don't see
Right.
how you messed that up.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what the season has in store for them, and if they can, get their act together and perform better in their next race. But yeah, let's talk about this new potential calendar. So you mentioned that 2 specific tracks we might not be seeing. Walk me through your process on that.
So if you haven't watched the news, if you haven't watched the news with the whole Iran war going on with Israel, the U.S., the U.K. now joining in, a lot going on. Saudi Arabia and Qatar, and also Bahrain are all now involved in this war, and
So that could impact whether
they-
whether the drivers race there.
it already has. Mohammed bin Sulayem, the FIA president, has already said that they have canceled or postponed the WEC starting race of Qatar, so now they're going to go to Imola as the start for hypercar racing now with WEC. So this could impact F1, even though F1 goes to China now, which that'll be a good race. We can get to
Right.
that.
We'll
But
talk about
Saudi and Bahrain come directly after that, and there's a possibility of those already being canceled. I'm not gonna be surprised if it's already happened, considering WEC has already canceled their starting race in Qatar.
I mean, yeah, with all this that's going on right now in the world, that I could understand from the driver's perspective, why would you want to put unnecessary risk and race those tracks with what's going on? It's just too risky.
You
don't
gotta
think
also
it's
remember
smart.
that airspace is closed, and not totally closed. I mean, there are flights that are going in and out of there, out of the UAE and stuff, like evacuation flights, but they're not gonna let the private jet of Lewis Hamilton come into Bahrain. They're not gonna let that happen. It's not a rescue aircraft. It's not a military aircraft. They're not gonna let it into that airspace if the war is still going on, especially because all these countries are firing missiles at each other. So, yeah, I haven't heard an official cancellation, but I'm not gonna be surprised if within the next couple of days we get the official cancellation of both Saudi and Bahrain, which I think pushes us onto I forget what comes after Saudi, but
I'm not too sure, but it could definitely have an impact on what the whole 2026 Formula One looks like. So we're gonna address one more topic here. What is your opinion on? Obviously, there's some changes. The cars are different. The strategies are different. They don't have DRS. They've gotten rid of some of the things that were present in the 2025 season that are no longer in the 2026 season. What's your opinion on the addition of new regulations and the removal of old ones?
I think my full opinion is that the regs are still really new, as you said. So we still have a lot more to figure out about it. I mean, I've heard several drivers' opinions. Max seemingly doesn't like the regulations. I know George Russell has said the regs might not be as bad as you think. I know Lewis definitely likes them. He said
Yeah, he's
he
doing well.
he said Australia was the funnest race he ever had. He wished it went longer. But in my opinion, I think the regs are a good and bad thing. I think taking DRS away was something that maybe you kind of lost a good amount of F1 fans at that.
I don't think that's the smartest choice you could have made, honestly.
Mohammed Ben Sulayem is a shit president, so for the FIA, he's not that good.
He does not know what he's doing. I agree.
We're talking about a guy who during a Renault F1 promotion purposely crashed the car on the
Yeah.
first time he revved it up, and so yeah, I don't know why they did this, but I mean, I almost thought with the electronic stuff originally we were gonna F1 was gonna become Formula E 2.0. I
Oh,
was
good
scared. I
lord.
was scared of that.
Let's hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think a return to the older era in the early 2000s would have been a little better because those engines were absolutely amazing.
yeah, those were good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anything else you want to hit on Formula One that we didn't cover already?
Ma- Well, I think before we end up, I want to say looking ahead to China. Are you expecting Mercedes and Ferrari constant dominance, or do you think someone's going to come out of the blue like Alpine with Mercedes power units, or McLaren even if Piastri doesn't DNF?
I think it's possible. I definitely think that these teams have potential. This is definitely not a Mercedes dominant, Ferrari dominant type of year.
Or even Red Bull. Red Bull can come out of the gate strong in
Yeah.
Shanghai. If Hadjar doesn't DNF, Hadjar we know has potential off the RB days. Got a podium in 25.
I agree.
So-
I think especially Max and Hadjar, they both have potential as a group to make a surge in this second race. Again, this is the beginning of the season. This is
Yeah.
hardly anything to tell about future races. But I definitely think it's absolutely possible for Max to do a lot better than, well, sixth in the Australian Grand Prix and this
Yeah,
next one in China.
I think we can end up by saying that Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, and McLaren, and maybe even like Haas or RB will be will be some of the top dogs to look for in China.
For sure.
But I think everyone else just either needs to find pace, get their shit together, or like make major improvements.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we're going to take a quick break. That's it for the Formula One part of this segment. We're going to come right back at you with IndyCar. So don't go anywhere. We will see you in 1 minute. All right, we're jumping into NASCAR here. So we got some stuff to talk about, to say the least. Anyway, we got Phoenix. The Phoenix Cup pursuit jumps massively, right? We got Straight Talk Wireless 500 Cup Series purse at Phoenix has risen to approximately $11.23 million, which is a significant increase on last year. But despite this, we got some drivers to talk about. But before we get to that, what do you think of that? I mean, what do you think of the fact that they were able to rise that up to $11 million compared to where they were last year?
I think it shows that NASCAR is evolving and that they can definitely raise us higher even if they want. I mean, I'm not shocked if this starts going to NFL numbers soon enough because
Okay.
as we know, salary caps can rise and more budget can be added to the pool. So
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Especially because of NASCAR. It's definitely not as lucrative as Formula One, but it's a fairly lucrative sport.
Look, I think that with F1 you have a lot of celebrities involved with it. I think that's where you get a lot of money, especially with the VIP amenities in some of these countries. But
Of course.
even with NASCAR, I think there are some celebrities in NASCAR such as Michael Jordan's 23XI team, which won
Oh, yeah.
the NASCAR championship.
Bubba
and
Wallace and Danny Hamlin, shout out to you guys.
I love that team strictly because of Michael Jordan owning it. I think that is one of the best. Michael Jordan admitted early on that he was a big NASCAR fan, so that's why he ended up buying and making that team.
Yeah, I think that's definitely good to see not only non-racing celebrities involved in the sport in terms of fan base or in terms of purchasing teams. I definitely think that more recently that NASCAR as a sport has grown a bigger audience. Definitely. I
Yeah.
definitely think that Formula One is obviously one of the biggest racing series that's more well known. But NASCAR's getting up there, man. I think they definitely a lot of the people that I talk to that aren't huge NASCAR fans definitely know more about it now because it's been higher priority.
I think you have a lot of other. I agree that NASCAR is getting big, and they're doing very well for themselves, and I'm glad for them. Even though
Of course.
even though NASCAR is not my cup of tea for racing, I'm still proud of them. I still think they have a high ceiling. But
Yeah.
I will say that they have a lot more types of racing to pass before they even get there. They got IndyCar, they got MotoGP, they got WEC, they got GT3 to pass up. So
Yeah, they for sure got their work cut out for them. All right, let's talk drivers for a second. Let's talk a specific driver, Tyler Reddick, who happens to be one of my favorites, not my most favorite, but his historic streak. I mean, this guy has won 3 straight races to start the season, an absolute unprecedented feat in the Cup Series history. Has he got the momentum? Can someone put a stop to this guy? Do you think so?
it's possible. It's very possible. Unlike F1 where teams can bring upgrades, you've got NASCAR. Basically, everyone has the exact same car, the exact same engine. So it's possible someone can stop him. From what I've learned about NASCAR from you a lot mainly, it's the driver. It's the
Yeah.
driver more than the car because you can't bring upgrades. You can do some stuff to the car, but you can't really bring upgrades to it.
No,
It's
not a ton.
it's strictly the driver. Whereas F1, some mistakes go the car, some of the driver. It's all in the driver and how you maneuver that course and that track, especially since some of them are just round and around and around and around like big circles.
Yeah, I think a big part of it is people have the wrong misunderstanding that NASCAR, as compared to a different series of racing, is easier. I wouldn't go as far as saying that. It's definitely a easier one. Like Formula One is just insane. They're the best of the best, right? They know what they're doing, but that's not to discredit NASCAR. I mean, you're still feeling an incredible amount of forces on your body going into a turn at 200 miles an hour.
Yeah,
It's definitely not to be overlooked, right?
yeah. Let's also not forget that NASCAR and F1 have both had cars either test in Le Mans or race in Le Mans, as
Right,
NASCAR has,
right.
especially modified ones. I almost want to see how that modified NASCAR car would do in an actual NASCAR race, because they had to change quite a few things up with
Ooh,
that car.
they did, yeah.
They what did they do? They had to make it like higher, or
I'm not too sure. They definitely made a few modifications to it
yeah,
to make it faster, but um,
yeah, they
a lot of people think this sport is I'm turning left for 4 hours straight. No, that's part of it.
if you,
A few
if,
tracks are like
if,
that.
if you stay in a straight line, behind the other races, you're turning left for an hour. Unless you want to maneuver around and overtake people, then you're going right to left, right to left, right to left.
Yeah, there's more to it. There's more to it than turning left for 4 hours, dude. And not only that, even though a good portion of the races are oval circuits,
yeah,
uh, like the Charlotte Road Course here in North Carolina, that one's got turns, braking points. That's not straight left and right for 2 hours.
yeah,
So, or even at Daytona, Daytona happens to be the track
Yeah.
that I go to the most. At that road course, that's not circles for 4 hours.
Yeah.
There's many things that you got to go into understanding how to drive that course fast. You got
Yeah,
your braking points, your speed up points, your apexes, all this stuff that you have to know. Which I think just helps to prove that NASCAR is more than just driving in circles for 4 hours.
One of the things I actually want to ask about NASCAR, because I'm not that big of a NASCAR fan at all, but I want to ask you because I know they do this with F1 sometimes. Do they
Mhm.
change any of the circuit turns any of the turns or breaking points of the circuits? Because in F1, I know they've changed up China. They've moved some stuff around in Australia and Vegas.
For the most part, it's pretty standard, so I would say no. Like I'd say 95% of the time, they don't really do much to the tracks. But I will say they do change certain races for certain reasons. In the sense that if there is a problem, let's say they're racing at Daytona, right, the
Yeah.
Daytona road course, and they realize prior to the green flag that there's a problem. Well, of course, they'll straight up cancel the race and reschedule it for next season. They'll go right to the next race.
Mm.
So they don't modify the track necessarily, but they will modify the schedule to include or not include certain races for different reasons, for sure.
Okay, yeah, because I think that one of the points I was gonna make I was gonna make if you said yes to that was that one of the things I can put in common with F1 and NASCAR is that before every race, the drivers and the teams they do a walk around the track, they label out turns, breaking
Well, they still
points.
do that
Yeah.
because
Oh,
because it's 50-50 in terms of veteran and rookie. So half of these guys that are on these tracks have never seen them, not once in their lives. So they got to do that. That's
yeah,
part of a safety issue.
yeah,
But that's what that
yeah,
they have that in common. They definitely do track walks for sure.
yeah. Because I know with F1, every single season, every single time these guys go to the track, they take the team and the engineers around, and they're like all strategists, and they go walking around the track, and it's based on like track temperature and all that with the tires. So
Oh yeah, it's definitely different. Definitely. I'm more of a NASCAR fan. Biased, I know.
yeah.
I've heard that before. Um, but that's because I grew up in a town in Chicago that was huge into the sport. We knew what NASCAR was before we knew what NFL was, dude. We didn't
So
know what football was.
so the Bears didn't mean shit to you
No,
guys.
we didn't know who they were. Simply, we knew all the names of the drive. We would go to the Chicagoland Speedway in Joliet. We would drive up there as a family for almost every race weekend. Um, but then when we moved to Florida, shout out to my Floridians, we started to branch out and learn more about other sports, Formula One, WEC, uh,
IndyCar.
NFL, IndyCar, which we're going to touch on later today. But yeah, I would definitely say it was a huge part of my childhood. Was NASCAR. That was the first racing series that I really got attached to.
That was F1 for me. I was straight up. I got
From a young age, he was loving F1, guys.
man. I got hooked. Man, I got hooked to F1. I think in like 2021.
Wow, so you've been a fanboy for like 5 years.
Yeah.
But all right, let's touch on the Phoenix Cup for a minute. So we got the entry list, right? It's confirmed. So we have Ross Chastain, Austin Cindric, Kyle Larson, and more. So what do you think? Do you think that what's your opinion on this?
With the whole Phoenix Cup entry list, I think all the guys that have entered are I think they're very talented guys, and I think that they will definitely put. I think they'll make the whole thing entertaining. I think if NASCAR wants an entertaining series, they can definitely put it on with these dudes. So, yeah, I'm confident I'm confident in what NASCAR's got to offer for this Phoenix series.
For sure.
I don't know if I'll watch it, but I hope that if any of you out there are gonna watch this series, then I hope you expect a very entertaining race where
Oh yeah.
we will see some nasty overtakes and hoping, and I mean, yeah, hoping we get a new winner in this thing.
Yeah, I know you're not super well versed in the sport, which is totally fine. You know that's fine. But if you had to pick from name based from this list, so you got Ross Chastain, who I'll give you a little bit of a rundown. He's the bully. He's kind of the bully on track. He's not afraid to put you into a wall, right? You got Cindric, who's a casual driver, and then you got Larson, who's the other bully. So, but Larson's not as much of a bully as Chastain. So between these three, if you had to pick one, who would you say it kind of matches your vibe?
I'm an
You're the Cindric route.
I'm an aggressive racer, and I'm an aggressive racer, so I'm gonna go Chastain. I think.
He's going the Chastain route, guys.
I want. I think. I mean, look. I mean, like having go karted together. I'm an aggressive racer. So I will chase people down, and I will overtake people. I will get mad if you put me off the track, which you have done before.
I've done that before. We raced at a go kart track the other day, and I was actually trying so hard to catch him that I had lost it mid corner, spun 3 different times, and head first into the inside wall, and I was so mad.
Well, you took me out in a corner. We took a sharp corner, kind of like the turn in Canada.
I did, yeah.
And I would not give up the inside. And
I was trying to see if I could psych you out of doing that, but no, he was like, "No, I'm standing my ground."
I stuck the inside, ran on a track, and got taken out. So.
And then I went by, "See ya, wee." Anyway, I would say Austin Cindric's my guy. For the most part, in that scenario, it does sound like I'm an aggressive driver. For the most part, I am, right? But there's a lot that goes into racing. It's not just turn on the car, get out of the pit lane, drive for 4 hours, and leave.
Yeah.
A lot of the people who I know that aren't race fans think that's all it is, and I tell them all the time, from a basis standpoint, yeah, but there's so much more that goes into a race that you don't see that I feel like racing is a very, very intense sport for sure. But yeah, I definitely would choose Austin Cindric as my favorite driver. But I'm looking forward to this Phoenix race in this Cup Series. It's going to be super chaotic, and that's going to be perfect for fans like me to want to see that. Let's touch on some O'Reilly action. So the O'Reilly Series action at Phoenix, we got some news about it. The NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series is running qualifying and races as part of the Phoenix weekend. So, I mean, what do you think of this? You know,
we saw happen with F1 on March 7th. They ran qualifying and racing on the same darn day.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's definitely something that I haven't seen people do. I mean, usually if you remember with F1 on 25, you had qualifying one day and then you had racing the next day. Well, that's
Right.
not the case anymore.
no,
S-
that
so-
doesn't exist.
Still 3 day event. Still 3 day event, but you had practice one Friday, you had practice 2 and 3 on Saturday. You had qualifying and race the exact same darn day.
I mean, yeah, I feel like a full weekend of this stock car action. You're gonna have your oval tracks, your short tracks, your road courses. It's gonna be a series you want to watch.
Yeah,
It's gonna be a race you want to watch. I think it's super important to address that. But
yeah.
I would say for the most part, I like the Phoenix Raceway. There's parts of the track that I'm a huge fan of. I haven't visited it in person yet, but I would say all time. If you had to pick one track, first let's address this. If you had to pick one track, one oval or road course in NASCAR, which one would you say is like number one pick for Jonah? It's tough, right? There's a
That-
lot. There's a lot.
a really tough decision. I'm gonna go with a very unexpected one. I'm gonna go Coda. Circuit of the
Coda,
Circuit
of the Americas. All right. That's because that's a Formula One race, isn't it? No.
Yeah. How'd you know that?
I mean, yeah, I think it's definitely interesting to see not only different series of races, Formula One and NASCAR drive on the same asphalt.
Yeah.
Dude, imagine if they raced against each other. I think
I'm-
it would be a blowout.
I'm honestly kind of thinking, how do they modify that Coda track for NASCAR compared to F1? Because with F1, the track. I know you said they don't really modify the track, but I'm just kind of thinking about it right now. With the Coda track, you have the start lane right here. You're going uphill, and then you have a sharp left.
They add power. And they increase the suspension so the bottom of the front lip doesn't scrape.
So they do modify the.
They
cars
do
for-
modify the cars. It definitely does depend on the track. I would say for a good portion of the oval tracks, there's no need to modify it.
Yeah,
You're going in
Yeah,
circles.
because other than that first uphiller, you're kind of you're going straight and making left and right turns for a lot of that race.
And with Formula One, they can do that. They can do that at really high speeds. NASCAR can't.
yeah,
They got to slow down for those kind of corners.
Well,
Which
because with F1 with F1 I think with F1 is you can brake late. You can brake really darn late, and maybe you lock up, maybe you don't. But yeah, I could see how it is with NASCAR that
you definitely can't do that in
yeah,
NASCAR. You brake late, you're on the wall.
Whereas F1 is like more scratch built cars. NASCAR is more like keep the stock car, add some power into it, modify the whole thing, and send it up there, hoping it makes it.
No, for sure. That's a good response. That's a good spread. I'm a fan of Coda, but I got to go Daytona. I'm a Floridian. That's one of our biggest tracks, NASCAR tracks, Daytona Beach.
Yeah.
I saw a GT3 race at Daytona International Speedway.
Daytona
and-
500.
No, it was the 24 Hours of Daytona, the IMSA series.
Okay.
Yeah, but that was definitely one of my favorite all-time series that I was able to watch because one of my cousin's best friend was a driver for WeatherTech Racing. Shout out to Cooper McNeil.
What car was he racing? Porsche.
So they had two cars. They had a GT3 RS and they had a Mercedes car, Mercedes GT.
Damn.
Yeah, so they took and GT it's different. So because this was an endurance-based race, one driver didn't drive one car the entire
Yeah,
24 hours. They switch out.
It's the same thing with WEC. You know, they switch the drivers. Each car has 3 drivers. They switch out every like couple hours.
Yeah, 3-4 hours for a 24-hour race, depending on how many total drivers you have for a car. Let's say for like the Porsche, right? And you have 4 drivers. You're going to be able to take shorter stints because you have more drivers.
Yeah.
With 4 drivers, you could take 3-hour stints each until the 24 hours are completed. But with 3 drivers, you're going to have to do it longer because you don't have as many guys,
Yeah.
right? So for 3 drivers, they're going to do 4.5 hour stints. So it's longer, harder on the
Yeah.
body.
I mean that's how endurance that's why they call it endurance hypercar racing for a reason.
Oh, for sure. And no car endurance for no reason. We got some more news here. Cup standings are already looking crazy. We got an early season standings are unpredictable. We got some past playoff drivers already in the outside, the points cut line. This could be rough for these drivers. You know, if you're on the outside of this cut line, it's not good, right?
I mean, one of the things we know about NASCAR is that anything can happen. Really, I think it's one of the few
Oh,
racing
yeah.
sports where, yeah, it's kind of no one's really the favorite at all. I think
No.
I think as much as it's all on the driver, no one's the favorite. You got the same darn car. Just
Yeah.
it's all the drivers.
Well, I'm gonna butt in for a minute here. I wouldn't say same car. There are differences because it's not all the same brand. You got your Toyota Camrys out there.
Yeah.
You got your Ford Mustangs. So even in just those 2 alone, you got some major differences.
the engine.
Yes. Yeah, how'd you know that?
Well, simple F1. Oh, it's the same thing with F1 right now. You got Honda, you got Red Bull, Ford, you got Ferrari, you got Mercedes, you got Audi.
Yeah. So with the Mustangs, they were, I feel like historically, because I'm a huge Mustang fanboy, they were built for power.
Yeah.
When you think Mustang, you think raw V8 power and speed. And when you think Toyota Camry, you think I'm a 45-year-old man going to work. You don't
Yeah.
think power, right?
No one ever thought about Toyota Camry being built for NASCAR, but
No.
but you also got the Chevy Camaros.
Yes. So I think because you have the Mustangs and the Camaros, 2 very classic American-made muscle cars built for speed, that especially here at Phoenix, that we're going to get into, that we got into prior, you have 2 really good contenders, like how we addressed earlier the Mercedes and the Ferrari debate, how they were going sort of back and forth in the early parts of the race, and they ended up finishing 1, 2, and 3, 4. You know?
Yeah.
So, but it's just insane. All right, we got one more thing to address in this section. So we got some fans and driver debate between IndyCar and the NASCAR doubleheader, right? So we got some drivers have criticized NASCAR and IndyCar for sharing a race weekend, but it can create focus and preparation challenges, which I can understand that if you're an IndyCar driver showing up to Daytona to race the road course, or if you're Austin Cindric for NASCAR coming up on the same weekend, you're kind of thinking, what is this guy doing here? You know, like it doesn't really make a lot of sense, right?
Yeah. I mean, I personally don't know why they do it. I think it's a very idiotic thing, but I get there's really nothing you can really do about that with the race weekends.
No,
So
no.
yeah, I mean, look, I can make comparisons to F1, but this is how it is with F1 as well. You have weekends where it's F1, F2, and F3 all on the same weekend, and even F1 Academy.
Yeah,
in
they're
a few
all
weekends as
sharing
well.
the track at the same time.
But I think the difference is that the garages are in different places. I don't know if they clear out the garages for the IndyCar guys after NASCAR's done.
They do.
Yeah.
They do, because, I mean, you're not going to fit a whole 40-plus IndyCar field.
Yeah, because I don't know where you can get some more garages. I mean, F1, obviously, I think the difference with F1 though is F1 has the garages. F1 Academy has like tents as garages, which I think is incredibly horrible.
Oh, my God.
But
they're
then the
just
F2 and F3
awful.
guys, like they get the garages. So like I don't know how you move the equipment out that fast, but I mean I
Who
think
knows?
I
Who
think
knows?
especially I think the garage part is probably one of the most difficult things because you got to move your equipment out and then you got to go. Where do you go? I think
Go to the next race.
I-
Pack it up in your tractor
Well, but-
trailer, put the car on board, and leave.
if you're on the same weekend after a practice session, and then
That's true. That's fair.
I don't think do NASCAR teams have hospitality homes like F1 guys?
To my knowledge, no. So in that scenario, when you're going between practice sessions between the 2 different series, my guess would be the entire NASCAR field does all their practice at one time, park in the pits, and then they send the Indy guys out. They do their thing, and then they just switch.
Yeah.
From the qualifying to the race. So, the whole NASCAR field does their qualifying, they get their positions, they go back.
Yeah,
The entire Indy field does it, they go back, and then same with the race.
I mean, I'll finish up by saying this. I don't think that it should detriment any of the focus that these guys have. I think that
No.
they all know how to lock in, but Because
They're all professional athletes.
if,
They all
if
know what they're doing.
if you're gonna lose focus by just seeing Mick Schumacher of IndyCar being at the same race as Austin Cindric as NASCAR, if you're Austin Cindric and you see Mick Schumacher coming in there and you're like, what the hell is he doing here in some race NASCAR? If you lose focus on that, then
Then
that's on you.
I feel like from the beginning that's a bad
Yeah.
position to be in. All right, guys, that's gonna wrap it up for the NASCAR segment. We're gonna come back in just a few minutes to address IndyCar and give our final thoughts. So we'll see you guys in a minute. All right, guys, we're back. All right. Let's address the Phoenix side of things on the IndyCar. Right?
Yep.
All right. So the NTT IndyCar Series is going to head to Phoenix Raceway this weekend for the Good Ranchers 250. It's gonna actually mark IndyCar's first return to that oval track since 2018. They haven't
Damn.
been there in so long. They haven't been there in 8 years. So I mean, do you think because IndyCars are built differently than NASCARs that this is going to be a tougher race on this series?
I think it definitely will. IndyCars are known to be lighter than NASCARs. They're smaller than NASCARs. So it should definitely be a more interesting race. And I think that overall, I mean, it's the lightness of the car. NASCARs are pretty heavy. IndyCars are very light.
They weigh like 3,000 pounds.
Yeah,
They're really heavy.
I want to see IndyCar. Hot take. I want to see IndyCar race at Monaco. That would be a freaking
That would be
fast race.
awesome.
I saw some YouTuber do like a simulation where you put like an F1 car and an Indy car and like F125 somehow like race against each other in Monaco. The Indy car was just taking the turn so fast. It's so light and small that you can't really have one. It can't really crash in that track at all.
Especially that hairpin,
Yeah.
that really tight hairpin. I mean, it's a pretty famous. Even
Yeah.
people who don't know the series know the Monaco hairpin is a really tight corner to make.
Yeah.
And to think that these Indy cars are taking these turns faster than this F1 field is just crazy to me.
Well, I mean, with the 25 F1 cars, I think it'd be a different story. But with the 26 ones, the 26 ones are smaller. They're smaller and they're lighter, so they might be just as light, if not a little less lighter than the Indy cars right now.
So we could see it. It could be a pretty good matchup.
I don't think F1 and Indy car over racing each
No.
other. I think F1 is too much.
It'd
of a
be
pinnacle-
interesting though.
A pinnacle though, but IndyCar, if you're hearing me, go to Europe, race Imola, race Monaco.
Yes.
I want to see how you guys do there. I think that will be really good for you guys to go to Monaco, get some European experience, come back here and be like, yeah, I think we need to make a whole Europe series for IndyCar now.
Oh yeah, and I think I think it will be interesting to see Formula One, an IndyCar race at Imola, at Monaco, or even at Monza, because these are predominantly Formula One dominated circuits.
Well, I think IndyCar. I'm trying to think of like the street circuits. I'm trying to think of like what circuits would IndyCar do best at. So I'm thinking like Vegas, Azerbaijan, Monaco, Singapore. I think those are all.
I
Street
agree. I think they would have a better shot with those tracks than others.
Azerbaijan, especially with the Castle Road, where Leclerc famously had his "I am stupid" crash.
Oh,
that
the
would be-
Baku crash.
That would be one of the best freaking corners for IndyCar to take. That's such a tight corner, but they're so light and small they could take those corners, and unless they spin, they're not crashing.
No.
Yeah.
But it would definitely be interesting. We got some more news here. Leaderboard and live broadcast info. So IndyCar has posted the live leaderboard and broadcast info for the Phoenix Raceway weekend. And teams are already planning their pit sequences and their tire strategies, right?
Yeah.
So do you think that having this info regarding the live leaderboard as well as the broadcast is going to help them? Or do you think it's really just information that's not important?
I mean, if the teams are using it to plan their tire strategies and already, then I think that's it's a very obvious move because that's what F1 teams do. They're planning their strategies way ahead in time. That's what the debriefs after practice sessions and qualifying are for, is to do that stuff. So, yeah, I don't see a problem with it. I mean, you don't plan strategy for a race the day of. You have staff at that track way in advance to make sure that everything goes well and that you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. I think the only thing you really can't take into account until like the day of, unless you get a really ahead of time report, is rain and track temperature, because
Yeah.
that would
No, those are just that's
the
gonna really
because I mean, look, you could see that it's not going to rain today, and then all of a sudden here comes a big fat storm,
right.
and then track temperature as well.
That's gonna have a
Um,
huge impact on
I
it.
think track temperature you can manage somewhat, but again, I think with F1 as well, they some like in qualifying the track temperature will be one thing, and then it'll be another thing on race day. So it's a very unpredictable thing to do with. So
That's true. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. If,
I don't know. I mean, I do think that the giving this information to the drivers as well as the teams is going to be helpful for
yeah,
them. They're gonna be able. They're gonna look at this. They're gonna be like, okay, we know what we need to do, right? We know this needs to happen. We need to do this, right? They have that information ahead of time, and I think it's really important that not only that they're giving it, but they make solid use of it. That they make
yeah,
good use of their time with the information they've been given, and those teams they go out there, they give it 100%, like you would in any sport,
yeah,
right? You wouldn't go. An NFL player wouldn't go out in the field giving 50% effort, and wonder why he loses. He'd be
yeah.
like, I didn't give my 100% effort. That's why. That's why I'm not on top. But anyway, let's address Malukas and how he did in his practice session. So David Malukas topped practice one and showed really strong speed, making him an early dark horse in this oval circuit. So
Yeah.
this guy's fast, but there's one problem with him as well as his team that he can't seem to figure out. He can't be consistent with his lap times. They're all over the place.
I've, I mean, first of all, as much as I know IndyCar, is this guy consistent at all, or
No.
is he a rookie?
No, he's been in the game for a while. So you would think
Okay, well, if it's that, then it's simple. It's simple. You either need more simulator time, or you need to figure something out with your car. If if you have not been consistent for this long, then it's not your car. It's you as the driver. The
Yeah.
car's doing the work for you. You can the lap times all you want, but if you can't,
it's you're screwing it up.
yeah, you're simply screwing it up. I think some veterans later in their careers can become big busts, and so yeah, look to him. If he cannot be consistent this year, then to his team, get him the hell out of there.
Yeah. No, I mean if he can't, there's something that he needs to figure out. If he can't say, look, there's a problem, we got to figure out what it is and fix it, then he's just gonna keep going the way he's headed right now, down,
Yeah,
right? And I mean, especially for IndyCar being that it's such a intricate, complicated type series, it's not simple like NASCAR is in a way. These are mistakes you can't be making, man. These are
yeah,
mistakes you gotta fix, especially as a veteran. You've been doing this for 5+ years. You would think with all that experience under your belt and all that know-how that you would address these problems when they come up. But I mean, Malukas just isn't doing that.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't think it's an ego thing because if he realizes it, but yeah, I can only imagine him in the debrief for this team being like, "What the heck is going on here?"
And then his team's probably like, "Listen, David, you're the one in the car out there. What
Yeah.
is going on with you?"
We figured out all your issues. It's simply you being a crap driver. I don't know how you're doing this. We got the car all ready for you to go. All ready for you. Unless you crash that thing or break something, then it's not your.
Yeah,
Then
it's not a team issue. It's I will close this thought by saying this. It is simply a driver error,
Yeah.
not an error in communication or an error in the team.
Yeah. Hot take: David Malukas is the Lance Stroll of IndyCar.
He is. He is though. He is
Except,
though.
except he's not a nepo baby
Nepo baby.
like Lance Stroll.
Oh my God! Don't even get me started on
With
Stroll.
the funding of dad.
There you go. Let's address some favorites at Phoenix Raceway. So we got official previews list Dixon, Newgarden, McLaughlin as favorites, and Malukas and Palu as teammates as potential sleepers. So I think that not only traffic and timing will play huge roles in this, determining who will come out on top of this race, but let's talk about the synergy between the teammates of David Malukas and Alexander Palu.
Alex Palou, you mean?
Yeah, Alex Palou. So we talked about how Malukas just isn't there.
Mm-hmm.
Like that he's not there. Do you think that Palu is going to be able to metaphorically step on the gas and give his team the edge to make up for Malukas' air?
Oh, he will. He definitely will. Alex Palou having raced for Arrow McLaren with that whole, but having left with that whole beef going on. Alex Palou is a very talented driver, even to the point where in the law case against McLaren, Zach Brown said he promised Palou an F1 seat before Piastri came in.
Yeah.
So Palou, if that's what you're telling Alex Palou back when he was at McLaren before shit fell through the roof, then he's definitely a talented driver. He can step on the gas. In his case, though, because he's consistent, this is his race to lose. The car having mechanical fault is something you can't control. But if you crash or you lock up or you brake wrong or you let someone by or you play lousy defense, that's your fault. That's
an issue on you.
This is Palou's race to lose. The way I'm seeing this now is this almost seems like now an Aston Martin situation where Malukas is Lance Stroll who can't get anything going, and Palou is just Fernando Alonso who's just, yeah, I'm here. I'm the only one who can do it. Who can do something about this. I'm trying to save what's left.
I mean, yeah, I think it's good that you have Palu to be able to pick up the slack where Malukas lacks, right?
Yeah.
To be able to scrape the dirt off his shins and be like, you know what, my teammate might be bad, might be horrendous, but that's not going to affect me. I'm a champ. I'm good, and I will make up for the issues that we have, right?
Yeah, I would call this a Red Bull situation, except for the fact that Malukas' car is not undrivable. It's built the same.
It's the same thing. Again, driver error.
Yep.
Not a team issue.
Yeah, this is driver error straight up. Malukas is Lance Stroll and Checo combined if they were both still in their old days.
There you go. All right, we're going to hit some last minute things here. So we got some title implications early in the season, right? With a 17 race calendar, including ovals, street circuits, and road courses, starting strong in Phoenix is going to be able to set the tone for the championship, right?
Yeah.
You get that first race win under your belt, and you can glide from there, right? Kind of like how Russell here at Australia got that win. Now he's like, okay, I got a race win under my belt. We're moving. We got some momentum. Yeah. Let's carry this through the rest of the season, right? But every point in this counts. Especially for people who have potential to win a title, like Palu or McLaughlin. Those two drivers, I think, are going to be the one that our audience wants to look out for. So when this race in Phoenix gets underway, look out for Palu and McLaughlin to dominate a good portion of the race.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I'm looking at Alex Palou. I'm looking at Alex Palou specifically because I love that guy to death. I think he will be a very. I think he can kind of turn into a bit of a Chastain from NASCAR, bit of a villain out there.
Oh yeah, I think he definitely has potential.
Especially after the McLaren beef, I think Palou's on a bit of a revenge arc since McLaren kind of screwed him over. So.
They did. I don't know why. Why would you screw over that guy? He's one of my favorite drivers.
Zach Brown said Zach Brown promised him an F1 seat before Piastri came to the team.
Damn it, Piastri! Why'd you take a seat?
Well, Piastri had a situation with the whole Alpine thing where Alpine said that Piastri was going to join them, and then Piastri was like, "I didn't give consent to that. I didn't agree to that at all. Why'd you do that?"
Well, that is like, what, screw you guys. I'm going to McLaren.
Well, McLaren did it because Piastri simply was like, "Yeah, I did not agree to this. I did not consent to this." Alpine basically said that Piastri is joining their roster without even acknowledging, I don't think putting him under contract.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that's a podcast.
Yeah.
Right. We did good. That wraps up this week's Inside the Pit podcast. We got some news stories from racing champions like Formula One, NASCAR, and IndyCar, leading into a massive weekend of racing. So, I mean, hey, we appreciate you guys for joining. Jonah, it was great to have you on the podcast. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much. Good conversation, great time. Hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah. All right. Well, appreciate you guys for listening in. Look out for next episode coming out either on Tuesday or Thursday of this week. But yeah, again, I'm gonna say appreciate you for coming. Had some good conversation. Any last minute thoughts, or is that a pod?
Go Ferrari.
All right.
Forza Ferrari.
There we go, guys. We'll see you next week.